This week on the Spike and Jones podcast.
Welcome back to the Spike and Jones podcast. We've missed you. We were a little hurt you weren't here for 4 weeks, but let's face it was our fault. So here's what we've been doing, both the heaven and the hell.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Spike and Jones.
It's been 4 weeks.
What's your name again? I know, right?
It's been 4 weeks.
Has it been 4 weeks? God, it's just a blink.
So we haven't seen each other for the whole month of August. I mean, I looked at our uploads on, where we upload the podcast, and I was like, there's no data.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't done a podcast this month. I think the last podcast we did was like the very end of July.
It was with Craig. Yeah.
And I think it was the end of July or maybe the first part of August.
It was the end of July because we played that concert that weekend.
That's right.
On the 30th.
That's right. Because, see, and
then we left the state for a week plus a vacation.
And then I was sick for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So let's play catch up.
Okay.
So today we might have a little bit of a deep six, but it could be a deep sick.
Okay.
Yeah. Because what most of you don't know, unless you're actually a friend of mine on Facebook, is that I had pneumonia.
Yeah.
Which is why I still sound kind of funny.
You do sound kind of a little,
Yeah, I don't, and I'm trying not to cough. Is what it is.
Okay.
Because if I talk too much, I'll cough. So you're going to be talking a lot.
Okay,
today.
great. So
fill me in on. So tell me about Hawaii. Tell our fans about Hawaii.
Okay, so. I think I've conveyed to the audience before that the economic downturn just crushed my family.
Right.
We literally took it in the shorts, and I say that as a privileged white guy in America. So when my cable went out,
it's the worst day ever.
Yeah. So anybody listening to this with real problems, I apologize in advance for my privilege if my privilege is showing. But we went through a bankruptcy, and we fought hard to keep our house, and we took a major salary cut, because the economy went to hell, and the industry I was in imploded, and then we had to fight our way through it, and we did. But that being said, my wife and daughter and I, who have a very blessed, privileged life, hadn't gotten away, hadn't traveled, hadn't gone on a real vacation. They were all staycations. Everything was on the cheap, and we didn't want for anything. Don't get me wrong. We didn't miss a meal.
Sure.
Look at me.
Sure.
But there was career uncertainty. There was a financial sacrifice. There was a little bit of a road.
Yeah.
So we got a chance to go as a big group family. There were literally 12 of us, if not 16 of us. Yeah. It was my wife's younger sister had a major birthday milestone, one that my wife had crossed a few years prior.
Oh, that's right, Hawaii 5-0.
Yeah. When my wife managed to hit this milestone, I wasn't in a position to do for her what she deserved. And it weighed heavy on her that she didn't get, and not that she's spoiled or greedy or needy, but it's a big thing. It's a big milestone for someone to cross.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to do for her what I wanted to. So when her sister did reach that milestone, she wanted to do everything, and she wanted to have a big party in Hawaii with all our friends.
Yeah.
And we all put it together. We had a year plus to put it together. And then my wife and mother-in-law did the due diligence and found the right place to stay, and they looked at a lot of different places and researched the shit out of it. And I worked my ass off, I think, taking every crumb of every gig I could to have the means to do whatever we wanted to do on this vacation. We went to the big island of Hawaii and stayed on the Kona coast in a beautiful, vacation rental place.
Yeah.
With a VRBO, Airbnb kind of a place.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a hotel.
No, it wasn't a hotel. We rented a big 5-bedroom estate.
That's awesome.
With an in-ground pool.
Was George Clooney there?
Well, it was this place. I'll tell you what, Rob, I mentioned it because I fell in love with Kona.
Oh.
I mean, I'd been to Kauai, I'd been to Oahu, and it's fun, and it's, touristy, and it's vacation-y. But I could live on Kona in a heartbeat, dude. It was, this place was, 90 seconds from the beach,
Really?
up a big driveway behind a big gate, on the 500 yards up the hill.
Sure.
With a windy driveway, and the place had a view of the ocean, and the biggest in-ground pool I've ever seen in a private home, a saltwater pool that was beautifully designed.
Saltwater pool?
Yeah.
Was there fish swimming in
No,
it?
no. But it was perfect.
Because that would have been sweet.
That was sweet,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And we, like I said, I took a whole bunch of money to burn because I wanted to make sure that we didn't have to say no to anything when we were there, and we did. We did everything we wanted to do. We zip lined through the jungle for like 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Did you do the mountain bike thing where they take you to the top of the mountain and you ride back?
No, we
down?
didn't. No, we didn't do that. We did a thing where we rented bikes and rode 4 miles in each direction to see lava spit into the ocean at Volcanoes National Park.
Because it's still live. I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
active.
It's spitting. Yeah. We surfed and paddleboarded and snorkeled and rented Harleys for a few days, and we had a big luau. We had a cookout. We had a big dinner party, and we all did it as a family in this big house. There was 10 of us in the house, in the 5-bedroom house. My daughter brought her boyfriend from New York, and I rented them a condo just down the hill from us. Literally 1 minute from where we were, they had a beachfront condo for the two of them. At the end of our driveway was the condos were right there. We had 4 more friends stay about 5 minutes away that joined us for most of the events. And we just had a fucking blast.
That's awesome.
We relaxed,
Yeah.
We enjoyed each other's company. We indulged ourselves in every little. My wife said, "Want to go shopping? Go shopping. Want to buy jewelry for friends? Buy jewelry for friends. Want to put all the girls in matching dresses and have portraits taken? Let's do that too. It didn't matter."
Wow.
And it was the weirdest thing. Everywhere I went, somebody knew me. It's the fucking weird.
What?
I swear to God, dude. We go. My daughter's boyfriend wanted to buy her ukulele in Hawaii, and I said, "Well, they sell them here at Costco, and they're nice." And he goes, "Well, I want to buy one," and blah blah. Okay. And as we're renting Harleys, the first couple days we're there, it takes some time to get all the paperwork put together. And long story short, I started wandering around the little neighborhood near the dealership in downtown Old Town Kona, and I'm looking for a croaky.
Yeah. The
My
straps.
mother-in-law needs something to keep her sunglasses from falling off her head, and they didn't sell them at the Harley store. So I thought this little mini mall right across the street, their little old, kind of tiki hut looking mini mall touristy thing.
Yeah.
And I'm wandering through there, and there's a music shop, and I poke my head in and say, "Hey, guy's got a wall of ukuleles from $50 to $1,500, different sizes, concerts, baritone, whatever you call, blah blah blah."
Right.
Talking to the guy, "Oh, where are you from?" "We're from Seattle." "Oh, I used to live in blah blah blah." "Oh, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, what, you're Spike O'Neal. Oh my God, you're Spike O'Neal." I'm like, "Yeah, bro."
I'm just a dude.
So, but we ended up getting a ukulele in a case for my daughter.
Yeah.
And then my little one got one too with a little travel case, and the guy threw us like a fucking crazy deal.
Yeah, because you're Spike
I'm Spike
O'Neal.
O'Neal. What did I
That's
do by Spike
hilarious.
O'Neal? Was my thing. We go to the luau.
That's
We go to this
work.
one of those big. We had a party at the house. We go to one of those big hotel luau's, and I walk in. The guy's taking pictures, and he's like, "Spike." I'm like, "Mike, do you work here? You work for the hotel?" He goes, "Nah, bro, this is my luau. I've been doing this for 10 years.
What?
This thing runs around. I do it to 4 different hotels, 4 nights a week. Haven't worked a 40-hour week in 10 years.
Wow. Did you have to kill the pig yourself?
No, the pig was going all day long. They unearthed it.
Wow.
It was
Banana
just,
leaves the whole
yeah,
thing.
yeah. It was just fucking. It was perfect.
That's
man.
so
We had the
awesome.
best time.
I want that so bad.
Yeah, me too. I want it every fucking day. I want to live there. I can't believe I came home.
Yeah, I've never
You know?
been to Hawaii. I've
Oh,
never even
dude.
flown through Hawaii. I have no idea. My brain just tells me it looks. Well, I mean, I saw that movie with George Clooney.
Yeah.
The Descendants, right?
Right.
And that's what I imagine it's like. Overcast and humid.
It's
Kinda
funny.
like all the
it's
time.
funny. We like I said, we've been to other islands, but we've never been to the Big Island.
Yeah.
And Mauna Loa is the big, and Mauna Kea is the other one. They're two big mountains
Right.
on Hawaii.
The volcanoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're the 2 largest mountains in the world. Not highest, but in mass
Right.
they are.
From under. Well, they
Right,
come from
right.
30,000 feet down or
Right,
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
The mountain is a cloud magnet. Every day the top of the mountain is covered in clouds, but the coasts are sunny.
Oh.
And as the sun goes down and the lava rocks cool, the clouds make their way to the coast.
Oh,
But
yeah, it makes sense.
It's this climactic or climate cycle every day.
Yeah.
It was just we did a lot of driving. I rode around by myself on the bike. I took the girls for rides. We rode together as a group. It was
Everybody wears flip-flops all day?
Yeah, pretty much. My wife's got a picture of me at one point riding a Harley with, a bathing suit, flip-flops, a lei, no helmet. Because
you were riding with a lei?
Yeah, because we went down the beach. Literally there was right at the end of foot of our driveway was this public beach with nice sand, and there was a little paddleboard surf lesson school there. And the girls wanted to learn how to paddleboard, and we did that. And we're scuba diving. We're not scuba, snorkeling.
Yeah.
And I'm, and it's literally 2 minutes from the house. I just screw it. And I'm on the bike, so I, threw my wet bathing suit ass over the bike. I just bought a bunch of this palm leaf little baskets. This one lady was selling on the beach. Bought everybody a little one. And she gave me a lei for all the $60 I spent on 8 little things. And I'm just, got my glasses on, lay on my thing, big old beard in the wind. Woo! I'm in Hawaii.
That's hilarious. I would love to see you with like biking leathers, but I don't mean like pants.
Yeah.
But I mean just your shoes, boots.
Yeah.
So boots, a grass skirt, and a lei, and a skull cap.
Yeah.
And just riding around on the beach. Look at that. Now that's Spike O'Neill.
It was a wonderful trip. Like I said, we haven't taken a vacation in so long.
Wow.
And I've just fell in love with this place, and I'd love to live there. I would love to live in Kona. My daughter's been in Brooklyn for 5 years, and it's funny. The first day we rented 2 big cars, a big Ford Expedition and a minivan because there were so many of us at the house.
Right.
But my daughter and her boyfriend were kind of like, need a ride here, got to go there, blah blah blah. And after 2 days, they're like, we're renting our own car.
Yeah.
So I took my daughter we drove her to the airport, and she was going to rent a car, and the lady behind the rental counter at Kona. I mean, there's nobody at the rental agency. It's Kona. It's a Monday morning at 10 o'clock. Nobody,
right.
Or it wasn't even Monday. It was like Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. And the lady's like, where are you staying? And my daughter's like, oh, well, we rented a really nice private house. She's like, no, I need an address. You're renting a car. And my daughter's like, oh, okay. Let me get the address for you, and you do me a favor, go get your manager.
Yeah.
We've got a learning opportunity here.
Yeah. Really? They said that?
No. This is my daughter talking to the lady at the counter.
Oh my gosh.
Ryan's like, yeah. I need you. Here's where we're staying, and I'm gonna need you to get your manager. I'm gonna speak to your manager. We've got a learning opportunity here
for both of us. No, I know. I get it.
She went full fucking Brooklyn in like 30 seconds.
Wow.
I mean, I was out front. She's out front.
Were you proud?
And worried. Very proud, but worried.
That she was a little intense?
She's a little too New York. It's been 5 years, and she's full Brooklyn now.
Nice.
It is
full Bronx.
It is. No, I hear you. She'd have cut the bitch, but she's like, she said, ladies manager, this is customer service. Mm-hmm. And she asked me a question in a conversational tone, where are you staying at? Mm-hmm. And when I, in a conversational tone, said, oh, we really was conveying how happy I was about my vacation, she got flippant with me. I know we're renting a car. I know you need a street address. Mm-hmm. And she's outside, and she, well, really sorry they upgraded their car, blah, blah, blah. The lady should have put on chapstick. She kissed someone's ass. Yeah. But and she's just outside smoking.
She's
pissed.
upset.
I'm like, honey, don't let her fucking ruin your day.
Yeah.
Don't give her that power. You got, I just, I'm like, I get it. She's an asshole. I get it.
But there is something about that, 6 years ago, I went on a roller coaster trip weekend. You know me and the roller coasters, right? And I went to St. Louis to visit, to start this trip. And there's a group of guys, 2 of which of the 4 guys I knew. They both live in New York City. One works for VH1. The other works for a music company.
Right.
And they're New York guys through and through.
Yeah.
And they're really cool. I really, really like them a lot. However, I'd never actually hung out with them for a whole day.
Right.
I'd only spent, an hour here or there.
Right.
So long story short, we're at this amusement park, and they walked as though their lives depended on it. Right? There was no mosey.
No.
So I was tired, jet lagged, the whole shebang. And they're on New York time.
Yeah.
And they were just hardcore.
We got to do as much as we can while we're here. We got to
go. And everything's on a hill. I mean, I was just freaking falling apart dead at the end of the day. And they're walking like 8-minute miles. You know what I mean? Just hauling ass.
That's New York.
And by the end of the day, I was like, okay, so we got a hotel that night. And then the next day when we got to the main place we were going, sadly, this is me being a passive-aggressive dork, I just kind of stepped out of their lives for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
I just went elsewhere because it was just
it's intense.
It's too intense.
It is. That's New York.
And they were taking everything super personal on top of it.
Yeah.
And in fact, 6 years later, I have yet to talk to either one of them again because they were both so offended
that you stepped out.
That I stepped away from their sphere for the next 2 days. I mean, I'd check in with them. Like, hey guys, how's it going? But it was annoying as hell.
Well, Ryan was raised here, but she's a New Yorker now. Well, the reason I brought it up is because, I say I could live there. I could easily see myself. First off, I love the ocean. Mm-hmm. We've talked before. My best memories have all been when I was a kid at the beach. There's a romanticized memory, image I have of living at the ocean.
Right, you and Bruce Springsteen forever.
Just
the boardwalk,
sand, salt water.
Yeah,
salt water heals everything, inside and out. I firmly believe that salt water heals everything. Island time. The first couple days, you're like, Jesus, these fucking people are so slow. What the fuck? After a couple days, you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
I totally understand it too.
Well, I mentioned that I could live there because my daughter and her boyfriend, she's a bartender, he's a chef. I mean, they literally were thinking, we could spend a couple years here. We could step out of the rat race of New York for a couple years.
Nobody'd want to have them serve them.
Well, she could. I said to her, honey, you should think about it.
Really?
Because it would do you good to unwind
Bring
for
her
a
down
couple
a bit.
years.
Yeah.
You could use a couple years of island time, because you're just so fucking New York right now. And that's because she's just intense about everything.
Well, when you have 11 million people in your way,
and I get it.
Time,
I mean, I'm an East Coaster. I know.
Yeah.
There's limited resources and too many people, and it's a competition for everything.
Yeah.
You don't just go out and get a sandwich. You got to go compete with people to get in line to get a fucking sandwich.
Yeah. Even if you want to take a taxi.
Right. You're fighting for it. You betcha. It's like that in everything in New York. Yeah. So my daughter might and I'd love that. I'd love to know that she was chilling the fuck out for. I mean, God love them. They had the vacation. I loved our vacation, but they had the vacation I wanted to have.
Right.
I'm
actual
like, they're just like, you get up in the morning at sunrise and they're chilling on the beach together, the two of them, watching the waves break, and they met a local guy and bought a bunch of weed, they did. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? This guy sold them like a fucking shoebox full of sticky bud for $20 or some shit, It was
and for him, that was like a 500% mark.
I'm like, damn, look at you. Jesus Christ. Her boyfriend is a chef who knows a guy who works at a big resort. Guys, like, I can put you to work tomorrow, dude. You kidding me?
Wow.
You guys are working in New York. You don't think you could get jobs in Kona? You'd fucking run circles around these people.
Yeah.
You guys are flamethrowers,
Yeah.
But then I said to Melissa, I said, I could really see us living in Kona. I loved it. It was rural, it was small towny, but there was everything you could possibly want. And I was like, I could not get tired of it. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, man. I mean,
I know it's like, I don't know.
I've never been there once, so I can't really relate. I just know what the stereotype is, right?
Yeah.
And then what I've seen in the movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I can say the same thing about Japan, and that my experiences of Japan have been ones of, I'm in love, right?
But you had a locals experience because you had family.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and so I understand. I've had both experiences. I've had the complete tourist, what it's like to wander through, I don't know, Dotonbori and Osaka at night and just look at the millions
mountains
of lights and just go like, wow. And it's overload, but that I wouldn't say it got old because I've only had that one experience.
Right.
Where every other time has been, I'm with the family, we're doing family things, and we're doing local stuff, and that tourist thing has been pulled out. But I've experienced both sides.
Right.
And because of it, I love it, right? I mean, I really know, in a sense, without living there for an extended period of time, because I've been there for periods of time.
Right.
I really know what I love about it and why I'm in love with it, what I could do with it, and how I could enjoy it. And like you with Hawaii, I mean, when I leave Japan, I cry. I cry every time. I cry.
Yeah, I hear you,
I
man.
cry literally leaving the country. Like, even if there weren't a family staring at me through a bus window.
Because you're a freaky tall white guy.
Right. I would still cry just because I love it there so much. And even with having had in the last few years some what I would call challenging experiences, family stuff.
Okay.
You know, which I don't really want to talk about on the podcast.
No, not at all. But I think we've talked about it before, and I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and you know, but even having those challenging experiences doesn't negate or even wipe out 10% of the love I have for the country. I mean, that's just life, right? You mean you deal
exactly.
People are people,
exactly.
And, you know. So I mean, I'm in love with the place. I'm in love with the culture, the food, the way things are thought of, the focus on timeliness and cleanliness are my two biggest, not pet peeves, but the things that kind of matter to me the most. They're my what's the word? I can't even think of it all of a sudden. They're my gotta have, you know what I mean? I'm not getting rid of those. I gotta be on time.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I love cleanliness. I love that sort of attention to detail. I mean, dude, it's amazing. Amusement parks, and going back to the amusement park thing. First of all, they're open almost freaking 24 hours. They're open every day of the year. That is such a weird concept to me. You know, I'm used to the American thing. Mm-hmm. Open on Memorial Day, close on Labor Day, right? That's just what amusement parks do.
Right.
Japan, you can go to an amusement park on December 24th, man. Yeah. There'll be 5 people. And the whole 500-acre amusement park is open. And there's nobody. There's never a line, and it costs $20. It's just insane. I don't understand it. Like, there's no business sense. There's no sense in that.
Yeah.
And yet, that's how it is.
Nice.
And so for me, the things I like, they're always there, they're always open, and they're always clean. Mm-hmm. Who
wouldn't want to live there?
Who wouldn't want that?
I hear you.
You know?
Yeah.
And everybody, because they are so passive-aggressive as a culture, won't confront you if you do something incorrect. They'll be judging you in their head, but they will not.
That's impolite.
Absolutely. So
and then there's New York,
right? So if you're an idiot tourist, they just let you be an idiot tourist.
Yeah.
They don't want to go like, dude, you're not supposed to eat on a train.
Yeah.
They just let you eat on a train, and every once in a while look at you.
Side-eye.
But they stay away from you because you're big and white and scary.
Right. You tore down their city last time.
Absolutely. And 70 years ago, you killed 200,000 of my people. Right. I don't know what it is about you, but I don't like you.
Speaking of which, see, they found the Indianapolis.
Yes.
Isn't that weird?
Yes, it is strange.
Oh.
It's that weird monument to. And
they're not going to mess with it.
No, it's a grave.
It's a grave. It's a nautical grave.
And unlike the Titanic, they're not marking it either.
Right.
They don't want anybody to know where it's at.
Nope.
But everybody knows in the general. Of course, you know who's going to pay for an expedition to go find it. I mean, it's just not going to happen.
No,
they've already done
Paul
it.
Allen. Who else? Who else got that kind of money to throw away?
To do what? To go look at it, and you can't do anything with it because somebody will destroy your.
Yeah, it's funny though. I was talking to Nate about it when the news of it came on. Yeah. I'm like, remember that storyline from Jaws?
Yeah. Oh, that's where it comes from.
Yeah. And that's great writing.
Yeah.
Quint was on the Indianapolis. That's why he fucking hated sharks.
That's why he hated sharks, because it killed my mates.
Yeah.
No, it's a crazy story. I mean, I can't imagine. I have a friend that is a Coast Guard what do they call it? They're basically paramedics, helicopter paramedics that drop in and save people.
Yeah.
And he said, you're in the water for 3 days, your skin falls off.
Yeah.
I mean, just falls off of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've saved people. So to get back to it, you have a friend who's a para-rescue, I think is what they call it.
Search and rescue.
Search and rescue for Coast Guard.
Yeah.
And he said that you could jump down. These people been out in the water. They actually had one gentleman off the coast of, I think, Algeria or something back in the 90s that had lasted 3 days one of two survivors of a shipwreck, if you will, or whatever it's called, capsizing, and the guy was clinging to like a lifeboat or something, but couldn't get in. Didn't have the strength to pull himself in.
Right.
And they get down in the water, and he's barely alive, and he survived. But when he pulled him out of the water, the skin fell off his leg. I mean, we're talking to the bone.
Yeah. Oh.
And he was like, and that was the first time he'd actually seen it. He'd heard about it, but recognized that, wow, this is such an awful thing. He's like, how do you pull these people out of the water without like their limbs falling off?
Yeah.
And the guy actually somehow, I don't know how it works, but they did grafts and whatnot, muscle grafts. So even though he has a leg, it's like, it's a stick compared to, it's crazy. They did muscle grafting and skin grafts and yet, so the skin falls off, but yet, it kind of like slipped off of the veins and the arteries. So he still had blood but just pumping down through these little tubes. Crazy stuff, man. Yeah, I can't even. I'm trying to imagine what that really truly looks like. He said it's not like it fell off in the sense of like all of a sudden it's the Terminator, right? And there's just the metal skeleton, right. But it was just like lumps of it had fallen off from just the salt water's brutal, which explains, why I guess most pools aren't made of salt water. So why is that pool? Is that a commonality in Hawaii to have swimming pools?
I don't know. I don't know what the benefit. I mean, it was wonderful.
Okay.
But it was called like a saline pool. It's not like salt water like the ocean.
So it's
salt
like the
water.
Dead Sea where you can float in?
Oh, you can float like crazy. I'd sit out there and just float for an hour, just looking up at the sky.
Wow.
At night, looking up at the stars.
So that's what it is then. It's basically an outdoor isolation tank almost.
It was for me. I mean,
that would have been righteous.
Those points of day when there wasn't a bunch of people playing in the pool, or everybody was having lunch or taking a break or doing something different, I'd go out there and just float.
Yeah,
and look up at the sky and watch. You could see palm trees in the peripheral waving, and
that would be.
It was just freaking perfect.
Yeah.
The last night we were there, it was a big full moon. Stars were out, breeze is blowing. I just stripped down naked at like 1 a.m, wandered out there, floating in the pool. It's like, this is this is paradise.
Yeah.
This is it. You could see like big white clouds all illuminated by the moonlight out over the ocean.
Right.
Just sitting there. It's like, fuck, this is just the greatest.
Wow. So I know we don't have a lot of time today, but I'm kind of curious. I've been, as the audience heard in the beginning, and again, Facebook friends and whatnot, I've been sick for almost 4 weeks with pneumonia, which is actually kind of scary to me because I realized that, at Christmas time, if you remember, I was sick for a tremendously long time. I had the flu that I could not kick.
Right. Well, a lot of people had the flu this time.
But then I got an infection after that, and then I needed a nebulizer and all that stuff, and it was awful. And it just makes me wonder, how prone am I to actually getting sick, and what am I doing wrong? Do I just have a really poor diet? Because I work out every day. So, I get it. Look, I know I have a poor diet. But how poor is it, and how much is actually contributing to my, my when I do get an illness,
to get ill, to stay ill,
stay ill, because it's the staying ill that kills people. The reason elderly people die in hospital beds is because they get an illness, they need to be hospitalized, then they lay down, they get pneumonia, and the pneumonia grows because they're not active, and they drown in their own, which is awful.
Right.
And my grandfather died like that. I watched him heave until he died.
Is there a family proclivity for this, do you think?
No, but see, here's the thing. My dad was a smoker.
Yeah.
And as you know, my dad passed away last year. Tomorrow's his birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. But my dad was a smoker. And the one thing I do know about our generation, meaning yours and I's generation, is that our parents, or certainly aunts and uncles, a lot of family members smoked. A lot of them did.
Right.
And
I was raised by smokers.
Right. And there's a reason our generation has the highest incidence of asthma and bronchitis is because we grew up in a secondary, right? We're just sucking all that crap in that our parents were exhaling. Yep. Fortunately for my mom, she never has had any really lung issues. But my father, he ultimately got cancer. He had a heart attack. He had a quintuple bypass, which is mind blowing. He had diabetes and he had emphysema, all because of smoking. Because smoking gives you all that shit. Yeah, it destroys your heart. Most people don't realize what happens when you smoke. The tar, it's not the nicotine, it's the tar and all the other toxins inside of the cigarettes that get in your lungs, and they find their way, because of gravity, they find their way to the bottom of the lungs. So lungs, in a sense, blacken from the bottom up. Right. That blackness, that there's no plastic sheath between your lungs and your heart. It's your lungs sit on top of your heart. Yeah. So the reason people get heart disease is because your heart leaches tar from the lungs. So your heart becomes necrotic. It kills the tissue. And so when they give you a heart not transplant, but when you have a heart attack and they do bypasses, it's because the arteries are dead. Mm-hmm. They're literally like black. So my dad, when they did it with him, the doctor said, "Here's the thing. You're 85% necrotic heart. If you tell me you're going to smoke after this, I'm not going to do surgery for you. It's not going to happen. I won't do it. And I'll recommend that nobody give you a surgery." I mean, he was like really hardcore with my dad, which was great. My dad didn't smoke after that surgery. But he said, Bob, after the surgery was over, he said, Bob, excuse me, I plugged you in where you had living tissue. You have no more living tissue. So whatever you get, you're not going to get another heart attack. The next one's going to kill you. You're not going to have, there is no next surgery. You got the only one you're going to have. So whatever you get out of this, you get out of this. And again, ultimately, what didn't kill him was the heart, but was the cancer,
peripherals,
which again from smoking. Yeah. So anyway, I have never had issues with my lungs. My brother has asthma, pretty significant. In fact, it'll probably kill him. And on top of having asthma, he lives in a humid environment and he's a smoker, which is crazy straws. I love you, Mike, but you're an idiot.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
So anyway, that's his situation, and hopefully he'll make it through his 50s. I don't know, but. I never had any lung issues until about 3 years ago, and I had a really, really intense cough, and I ended up getting a whooping cough. And the doctor said, "Yeah, but you're prone to bronchitis, and it's because basically of your dad. So sorry." Yeah. But every year since that year, it's almost like not clockwork, but if I get sick, I'm going to have the remnant cough, and then usually the remnant cough turns into bronchitis, and the bronchitis can lead to other things. Right. So I'm really, really cautious now to really, really hit it fast. However, I wasn't expecting, because I called the doctor really fast. I said, "Look, I think I'm going to have that extended cough. I think, I have bronchitis. Yeah. I don't need this to get worse." I go in and I'm inhaling, exhaling, and I didn't even notice it until I was sitting in a quiet office. I'm like, sounds like I got Rice Krispies in my throat. Yeah. There's a sound, right? When I'm breathing out. And she goes, "You have pneumonia. I'm pretty sure we're going to send you, hospital for x-ray." And the guy doing the x-ray goes, "So we'll let you know in 2 to 3 days." Within like half an hour, I get a call from my doctor. "Okay, so you definitely have pneumonia. I need you to get on these. They're really fast." Yeah. So that was August, I don't know, 4th or something like that. And today's the 25th. Yeah. So I basically, with the exception of a few hours here and there, I basically laid in bed and my kids thought I was going to die, which was awful.
No shit.
Which is awful. And my poor wife, I mean, she's worked her ass off, her tiny Japanese ass. She's worked her ass off to survive the last 3 weeks, because I have been an unavailable parent, husband, friend. I've been completely. First of all, I'm tired all the time. Yeah, I get worn out like instantly. Yeah, I walk upstairs, I'm like sweating. If I cough, I sweat because it's like physically taxing. Yeah. So it's been discombobulating is a nice way to put it, because I just. It scares me, to be fair. It scares me that all of a sudden, not only am I prone, but it seems to be ramping up Every time I get sick, I'm sick longer.
Okay.
So I've got to make some big changes. I mean, I'm gonna.
Well, what? You're healthy. You live a healthy lifestyle.
I do.
You don't eat garbage, do you? I mean, do you eat a lot of fast food?
No.
Okay.
That I don't do.
Well, do you eat a lot of snacks? You snack a lot with junk food?
So I'm dumb.
Okay.
So when I was in college, so here's the thing. Let's backtrack. So when I was a kid, my mom, she's going to be listening to this. Hi, Mom. She knows this, and I love giving her crap about this. My mom is not exactly an exceptional cook. She's not. She knows she's not a good cook. She's not a bad cook, but she's just not like, a cook like Betty Crocker.
Right.
Nobody in my family was except my Grandma Jones, and she's long since passed. So because of that, and then the timing with my dad's schedule, we would always eat really late in the day. So my brother and I kind of got used to, we get up for breakfast, we do the American thing, right? You have a bowl of cereal. Yeah. It's probably Cocoa Puffs, right? It's going to be some super sugary, crappy breakfast, right? Milk, just sugar bomb.
Yeah.
And then you go to school and you have whatever crap they offer you, which is typically like awful pizza and awful lasagna and awful spaghetti. It's all awful. And then you go home, and my brother and I we're not going to eat until 8 p.m. because that's when we ate dinner. 8 p.m. My dad didn't come home until 7:38, and that's when we ate. And then we go to bed. So this is terrible food habit. And we'd snack in between because we weren't going to eat until 8. So when I left home and went to college, I started this really awful habit of eating the same thing every day, which sounds great if you're eating something healthy. But for me, it was, I got up. I swear to God, this is my breakfast, was a half gallon of Breyer's mint chocolate chip ice cream. That was my breakfast.
Wow.
And I did that for 2 years.
That feels a bit busy day.
Yeah. It was just sugar bomb again.
Yeah.
Sugar atom bomb, right? Lunch was Kraft macaroni and cheese or Top Ramen.
Okay.
Because these are cheap things, right?
Sure.
And then dinner was usually a Totino's one of those dollar pizzas. That was what I ate. And, and usually 2 or 3 cans of Coke. Now, I did that every day literally that food. That was all I ate. And maybe every once in a while I'd have a piece of cake.
Yeah. For the vitamins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For the riboflavin.
Jesus.
It was so, and when you're, when I graduated high school, so I'm 6'1". When I graduated high school, I was 135 pounds.
Okay.
Not because I was unhealthy, but because I was that kid. I'm super skinny and tall.
Right.
And my ideal weight at my height, in Japan at least, is 155.
Right.
In America, I'm probably 172. Right. I weigh 227. So I'm clearly overweight.
Yeah.
But all that being said is, I joined the Navy, and so I'm super physical because I was in the military. I was super physically fit. I played drums 5 hours a day. So, I was always getting a big workout every day. And I continued to eat pretty terribly.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of fatty foods. I really love a big chunky steak, and but I had this addiction to Coca-Cola. So here's the thing: fatty foods are not bad. You can be on a great ketogenic diet and lose tons of weight eating tons of fat, provided you're not putting crap loads of carbs in your body, especially liquid carbs. Yeah. And Coke is it's the poison of poisons. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
And so there was a period, I'm not kidding you, Spike, there's a period in 2008, so just 8 years ago, I was drinking 2-liter Cokes a day. I was drinking 4 liters of Coke. I don't even know how much that is. Was that 2 gallons? 2.5 gallons? Half a,
2.2 liters to a gallon, right? That ballpark, is that right?
Something like that.
Sounds like that. That's about right.
2 liters is 67.6.
Yeah, 64 ounces in a gallon. Yeah, 2.2 liters.
So that's madness.
2 gallons of Coca-Cola a day.
So I'm drinking 2 gallons of. That's madness.
Yeah.
And I don't anymore. I don't even drink a 2 liter. I don't even drink a liter anymore. But if you get me going,
yeah,
Just like heroin.
It's your go-to?
It's my go-to.
Yeah.
I mean, if I don't feel good, if I've had a really crappy day or it's the weekend,
right.
I don't do beer. I don't do alcohol. I go get myself one of the tall liter that you can buy like at Safeway or whatever.
Yeah.
And I get myself a Totino's, one of those $1.50 pizzas. I put some extra jalapenos and cheese and pepperoni on it. And that is glorious. I mean, that is like orgasm time, man.
Wow.
That is great. So fortunately, my lovely wife, is a good cook. And we do have Japanese meals a lot. But the joke about the whole, Asian food, you eat it and a half an hour later you're hungry. It's because we're all trained to process energy a certain way. Americans process energy through simple sugars typically and fats. Asians process food through simple sugars and complex sugars and no fats, which is why you eat at a Chinese restaurant, you're like, holy shit, I'm hungry. Well, it's because you never got any fat in your food. But you know, my wife, I can make her, seriously, this is true, I can make her a steak dinner with potatoes, you know, very American, right? And an hour later, she's like digging through the snack thing, looking for something that's carby because she got too much fat, too much protein.
Wow.
It's just how it works. So our bodies are trained. And so I'm in the process right now. I've done this before and I'm going to do it again and I'm going to do it right. Which is why you don't see me eating a lot of food and why you don't see me drinking a lot of coffee or lattes is I'm going to slowly work back into a ketogenic diet. Okay. And I did this in 2009. I lost 45 pounds. Wow. Similar to the 30-10, I think. Yep. And just do light workouts, nothing crazy. Just to get my body back. And the thing that I discovered, I read this the other day. I listened to a podcast with Dom D'Agostino. So Mike Nelson, who's one of our listeners and has really followed some of the things, not that I've talked about, that I've learned from others in regards to some of the supplements I've been taking, has had tremendous results with his diabetes. I don't know if you know this, but his intake of diabetes medicines and whatnot, his doctors have cut him way back simply because he's taking advantage of supplements that I learned and we talked about on the podcast. So our podcast has actually changed somebody's life. Wow. Which is pretty darn cool.
Pretty great, for the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I can see where we could wreck some people's lives easily.
We've wrecked most of their lives.
Most of them, yeah, sure. So we're like 803 to 1.
But I really want to go down that road. I've done it before. I know what I'm up against, and I admit I don't like it. But the one thing I didn't do the right way, and I learned this just recently. So Dom D'Agostino is a doctorate of physiology. He's one of the top blood sugar, if you will, doctors, body modification, all the people who really understand how the body works at a cellular level when it comes to foods and supplement intakes. Suggested the best way to do a ketogenic diet is to actually make sure you layer in electrolytes and salt and magnesium. That's usually what crushes a diet. And I thought about it. That's absolutely true. The thing that I can't withstand or don't seem to withstand well through a diet is when it's not about the hunger pang. It's the missing ingredient that I can't explain, that my body's going, oh my God, I'm missing this thing. Oh my God, I got to eat something because I'm missing the thing. Well, the thing is the salts and the magnesium. And where is that found? In bouillon, in broth.
Really?
Yeah. All you have to do, and I tried it the other day. Oh, holy cow, it totally works. So in other words, you do this ketogenic diet, keep your carbs really low, eat a whole bunch of fats, primarily fats, and some proteins, all good fats and all good proteins. And good carbs, right? No sodas and whatnot. And then when you start to have the pang, you drink chicken broth, a good chicken broth, not like a crappy skinny one, but a good, hearty, salty chicken broth. Completely kills it. And you're just right on track. I mean, It just goes away. Instantly. You're like satisfied, warm stomach, the whole thing. And it's the key. Freaking broth.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm jumping back on that wagon, and so I have a goal. I'm going to lose 30 pounds in the next 90 days.
Okay.
and not because of the pounds, but literally because I am overweight. You know what I mean? It's not, and that will obviously change body contours and whatnot. I'll fit better in my clothes. I'll feel better. And you know what? I'll get sick less. The fact is I get sick because I don't treat myself very well. You know?
No, I hear you.
So, I mean, dude, my side.
You don't.
No. I'm not going to show you my skin.
No. I was going to.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the gut. My side, literally, I strained a muscle from all the coughing.
Okay.
So I mean, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I just don't want to feel like this anymore.
No, I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
And on top of that, if my friends call me up and say, "Hey, Rob, you want to go mountain biking at Tiger Mountain?" Well, of course I do, but I don't because I can't keep up.
Right.
I don't want them to wait 15 minutes for me to show up. It's embarrassing, let alone frustrating and all that other crap. So God bless us.
Do it, man.
So
I'm happy for you.
So before we cut off, because I know you got to roll. Excuse me. Have you ever had an experience of being sick for a significantly long period of time? And
God,
if so, what was it like?
I haven't. I had cancer.
Well,
that's not sick for a long period of time. That's finding something, having surgery, recovering from the surgery.
Right.
I had 5 heart stents put in.
What?
My heart. I had 5 heart stents put in.
When was this?
This was 4 years ago.
Is that what promoted you to start losing weight? Because I know you lost weight.
No, I lost weight because they were paying me to at 30-10. That's why I lost weight. You can laugh at me, and you just did. That's why.
Water
almost
I'm a came whore. Out of my nose. You are a whore.
I am a whore.
True.
I'm such a whore.
So true.
But that literally, and I had lost some weight prior to finding the heart issues. I was literally carrying Darby on my shoulders and felt like a thickness in my hands.
Oh yeah. That's definitely a warning sign.
And aching in my jaws, like my jaws were aching like I had eaten 8 pounds of beef jerky and was just tired of chewing.
Right.
So I go to my doctor and said, "This isn't right." I had this feeling of puffiness and thickness in my hands. Mm-hmm. And this aching in my jaws, and I laid down and it subsided. And I thought I'd pulled something on my neck from carrying Darby on my shoulders. Then I'm pushing a lawnmower in my yard and we get the same thing. I laid down. It took a lot longer to come back. I'm like, oh fuck, something's not good.
Yeah.
I go to get a EKG and it's fine. They give me a stress test and it goes sideways. And my doctor's like, okay, you got classic symptoms of blockage. We're going to go in and we're going to look. If we find what we think we're going to find, we're going to fix it while we're there. What we do is we run a camera up your femoral artery, and if we find blockage, we run the stents along that camera line. We literally feed them onto the back of the line.
So crazy.
And run the stents straight up the camera line and install them. I'm like, okay. They put me under. Supposed to be a 90-minute procedure, 45 minutes to an hour to a 90-minute. 4.5 hours later, I come out of it, and the doctor says, okay, here's what we found. One of your arteries was completely blocked. Had been for about 6 months. We know this because when the artery is blocked, the heart tries to build a collateral artery past it, tries to build a bypass.
Don't tell me Jesus isn't real.
Well okay. So, thank you. He said your collateral artery was almost complete.
Wow.
The other 2 arteries you had were 70% blocked. So I got in there and I'm like, okay, you were a coin toss for a bypass. He was like, I saw what I saw. And I said, well, I'll see if I can work through it. Because I know you didn't want to be off your feet for 4 weeks.
Yeah, it hurts.
So he said, so we got in there and we chipped away at the plaque on the blockage, and we got through. We put 3 stents in the blocked one. We put a stent in the 2 that were 70% blocked. And the next day, I was like I'd taken off a wetsuit, like a big underwater deep sea metal helmet, metal boots.
Yeah.
My color was better. I went to work. I missed 1 day's work. Went back to work the next day. Bob's like, Jesus Christ. Look like you've been at the beach,
Yeah, you're pink all of a sudden.
Yeah, right. You're, because I was a palish gray apparently. But yeah.
Wow. So basically, those heart stents allowed us to have a podcast.
Yeah, they totally did.
Because you wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here.
No, if you're not going to live. Well, when was that? 4 years ago?
4 years ago.
Yeah, you're with blockage. You're not.
No, he said you had a widowmaker in your chest. We call that a widowmaker.
Oh wow, man.
Yeah.
You have purpose, buddy.
Yeah, must.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you haven't had anything else because, if you'd had something coupled with that, you wouldn't have survived.
Probably not. Never smoked.
Wow.
Smoked a lot of weed when I was little, but stopped in my mid-20s.
Sure.
Got tired of it.
Wow.
Don't really drink. I drink a little bit when we play, but
Yeah,
I'm not a drinker.
Yeah.
It's funny. People go, "Oh, did you have a beer?" I'm like, "I don't want a beer."
So let's end on this. When I saw you last, the next day you were going to play with the Blue Oyster Cult and
Foghat.
And Foghat, that's right. I almost said Thin Lizzy. I was like, that's impossible.
I'd love that. I would love that.
Tell us about that experience, and then we'll cut off.
We got a really short set, 45 minutes, because we're an opening band.
Sure.
We usually play twice that, if not more. It was, everything when you have 3 bands in one day and you're the last one to go, you're waiting on the other 2 bands to do sound checks, as you know.
Right.
Blue Oyster Cult and Foghat both flew in that day from other gigs, so sound check didn't happen. They line checked BOC stuff, but the band was in Houston the day before, or California. Or one of them was in Houston, one of them was in California, and they both went. So we didn't get a sound check. We sound checked very, last and late. And we're waiting, and we finally get on stage to our sound check, and they're trying to figure out. And we're working with limited space, limited time, rushing things through. The managers of the venues flipping his shit because we got to open the doors at 6 o'clock. Blah, blah, blah. I said, look, we're supposed to get on stage at 5 for sound check and be done by 6. You can open doors. We got on stage at 5:40.
Yeah.
It's been 23 minutes.
Yeah.
And she's like, the people are waiting to get in, and you're still doing. I was like, we're not practicing.
Yeah.
When we've got it, so it's good. We'll stop dialing it in.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be a good show, and you do, and they do, and we owe it to them, we're not going to. So we end up sound checking for like 15 minutes past.
Yeah, they'll survive. 15
well, and they let people in while we were sound checking. So that's a little stressful.
It's always embarrassing.
But that's okay. That's okay.
That.
We're ripping through a couple of partial songs that aren't on the set list, so that's okay. Well, then, I got to see the guys started arriving backstage. Roger Earl of Foghat and his band, and the guys from BOC, and it was, hey, remember we? Oh yeah, and we, and that was kind of fun. And I wanted to do the whole play cowbell with BOC thing on stage, and they wouldn't let their manager wouldn't go for it,
right,
because it had
played that joke out.
It had gone horribly wrong in another city, with a winner. So it didn't happen. That's cool. But they signed a big cowbell for me. Buck and Eric did. And we fucking smoked it. Our band, I don't want to say we blew them off the stage because that's ridiculous. But we fucking smoked it. We played an amazing 45-minute set. We were all over the road, and we nailed it. We really nailed it.
That's great.
And they're like, and we're not going. We went about 4 or 5 minutes over, and we start. Our last 2, and we're only doing 45. We're doing like 8 songs. It's not like we're. But we started next to the last song, and like you got this is your last one, man. You got 3 minutes left, your last one, and we're like, well, okay, we'll see. And
we'll see.
And Jeff does his drums. He's in the middle of his drum solo in Moby Dick of Led
they
Zeppelin.
Just pull the sound.
No. Well, there's a guy in the front of house. Foghat's guy's like, this is it, man. Move. I got to get going. The guy's like, they're still playing. I'm not moving. Our sound guy.
Yeah.
All right, we got him in, and he's like literally, elbowing our guy off the soundboard.
Well, that's crazy.
So Jeff went right from the drum solo of Moby Dick, didn't go back in the end of Moby Dick, went right into Gimme Shelter.
Oh.
He went right from that into the next song. So there's nothing they could do. And we did our last song, and we fucking killed it.
Wow.
We killed it. It was fabulous.
Wow.
It felt like $1 million. And then those guys played, and we were better. I hate to say it, but we were better.
Well, it's Foghat. They've got 2 songs that everybody knows?
No, more than you think. But yeah, and there's one original member, and the rest of the guys are all great players.
Yeah,
but
sure.
we fucking, for them it's just another night in another city, and for us it was like, oh my god, I get to open for Foghat and Oyster Cult.
Nice.
And BOC was stellar, but they had some sound issues because they weren't there to sound check, and they only line check. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
So it's weird when we're an opener, and we've opened a few times for different people, from Skinner to Foghat to Foreigner to ZZ Top. We've opened for some pretty great bands that you love, but the place is mostly empty But people come in when we play and people pack the place. And we had the place packed as an opener. I mean, the place was packed.
That's awesome.
Except for the first couple rows of the VIPs.
Yeah.
Which drives you fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Because it's all the casino whale giveaways.
Yeah.
To their big players.
Yeah.
And there's little Asian,
who actually don't give a
little
crap.
Asian women sitting there for 8 minutes going, what the fuck is this?
Exactly.
You know, and I don't mean to be racist, but but I was, so there. You know, I
don't like this.
But we our place was packed.
Yeah.
And I went outside, you know, and as Foghat was playing, I walked out into the crowd to watch, and I couldn't get 3 feet. And Melissa was there, and it was like, I mean, God love her. She was very patient and waiting on the side, but I couldn't get 3 feet. I was a picture here, picture there, sign this, hug, high five, hugs. Which it's just, you know, it's fucking amazing. It's a blessing. I'm the luckiest fucker on the face of the earth. You know, then I went to Hawaii for 8 days. It was what a fucking. You were sick in bed. I was living the best month of my life.
I know, and it was dreadfully hot the whole time.
I was in Hawaii. I didn't know.
So it was like 100. Well, 97.
I'm tropical breezes and fucking
I was laying in bed.
Poke that was swimming that morning, and you know it was great.
The day it was 97, I was in bed in a room with the sun hitting the wall, without a window open, and I was cold.
Oh, dude.
My wife walks in. She goes, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm cold."
So let me tell you the last thought for BOC.
Okay.
I mentioned that there are players' seats that are sitting empty because even when Foghat and Oyster Club played, I'm watching BOC play, and there's a couple empty seats in the front row. So I got my, you know, I pulled the Wayne's World, got my all access limb, and I walk out and I sit in the front row, and I'm watching like the last half of their show, that last third of their show. From the front fucking row of Oyster, and I'm happy as a pig and shit because I love these guys.
Yeah.
I love these guys. Well, they start playing "Don't Fear the Reaper," and Eric looked right at me and gives me the whole air, you know.
Yeah.
Where's your cowbell, man?
Yeah.
You know, which was in my car backstage. So I literally, as soon as they start, I run right through the security guard, not out the exit, along the side of the stage.
Yeah.
Right through the front barricade.
I'm Spike O'Neill.
I did. I went through there, ran to my car, picked up my cowbell, ran back right through the same security guard.
That's great.
And literally 45 seconds later, I got this huge fucking cowbell in the front row, and I'm going for it. And people are fucking cheering me and high-fiving me, and they're laughing, and I got to play front row cowbell with BOC. It was
great.
Fucking heaven.
That makes me
just heaven. It was awesome.
That is great. That's great. And that's the only time. And so that was kind of one of your dream gigs because you love. I mean, again, you'd said those first 2 shows you ever
saw was those guys.
So here you are,
and I've seen them like just about every time they've ever come through town. And we got to record them at Bob's house and get a personal relationship with them. We met them for dinner one night with listeners. One tour they came through and. You know, I mean, it was fun.
That's so cool, man. Good for you.
Thanks.
I was suffering along.
I know, you were near death, and I was...
like, somewhere Rob is sucking Rice Krispies into his lungs. Great.